Hello, my name is Jeremy Hayer, a youth engagement specialist with SPAN, and welcome back to another episode of our Amplify Advocacy video interview series. And today, I'm joined here by my friend Patrick Ryan. Patrick, why don't you just introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Patrick Ryan, and I'm a student at Kean University.
All
It is
right.
kind of funny how I started out as an advocate. It all started when I was planning for my junior year of high school. I wanted to take a culinary arts class that couldn't fit into my schedule. Instead, a class called Talking the Talk, Effective Presentation Skills was what I had to settle for. My family and I did not believe it would be a good fit for me at first, so I knew I had to do the best I could. Part of that class included creating TED Talk scripts, but I was very inexperienced with public speaking. I had to come up with a topic. I decided to use sports as a metaphor for spreading inclusion, titled Leveling the Playing Field. After our class all delivered practice TED Talks, we all had the option to audition for the annual TEDxYouth event at Chatham. My teacher encouraged me to apply. I got accepted. I practiced my TED Talk for over a month, a few times a day, in preparation for the event. When the time came for the event, I was ready to speak. At the end of my speech, I got a standing ovation from hundreds of people in the audience. After the TED Talk came out on YouTube, I officially saw my journey as an advocate begin.
Oh, oh, that was great. Awesome.
Thank you.
Um, okay, so I hope you don't mind, but I'm just going to ask a couple of questions, and
Okay.
we'll just have a great conversation. Okay, so very first question. Um, what would you say was your biggest challenge becoming a self-advocate? Did you have any people that tried to like oppose you? Were there any personal issues, anything? Well, like what was really holding you back the most from becoming a self-advocate?
Well, I not only faced being inexperienced with public speaking, but for years before I took my class, I had many behavioral issues. I had
Mhm.
a high level of anxiety. I couldn't handle schedule changes or waiting for things I was desperate for. I went through many interventions before finally having life changing therapy from an amazing counselor through the New Jersey Children's System of Care. I learned some great coping skills and when to use them. Thank God my behavioral challenges had gone away by the time I was getting ready for my TED Talk. I went from someone who needed help to someone who helps others. Educators, classmates, and even I had underestimated my abilities, but my teacher saw potential in me that no one had ever seen before and encouraged me to audition for the event.
Yeah, wow. Like, again, like just an amazing, like you're a really good storyteller, I've noticed.
Thank you.
So we talked about what was your opposition becoming self-advocate, but what was or I guess who rather who were your biggest supporters? Who really helped you the most in discovering your voice and becoming an advocate?
I'd say my parents
Hmm.
and maybe that teacher that I had.
Hmm.
I'd say them mostly.
And how did they support you?
My teacher supported me by encouraging me to audition for it, and she really liked my TED Talk draft, and my parents thought that that would be great for me, that it was a great story as they lived through my story.
Absolutely. I mean, that's really what it means to really be good parts of good support networks really having a good support network. They really make sure that you have support and that you're focused and that you what other assistance you need can be met.
Yeah.
So moving on, so you've talked about doing your TED talk, an amazing achievement in and of itself. Definitely something to be proud of. But what other accomplishments are you proud of?
Um, what other accomplishments that I'm proud of are that I was a student in the National Honor Society in Chatham High School for my good grades and community service. For my disability advocacy, I won the New Jersey School Boards Association's Morris County Unsung Hero Student Award, Morris County Sheriff's Office Certificate of Recognition for Disability Advocacy, a U.S. House of Representatives Congressional Recognition for Disability Advocacy from Mikey Sherrill, and a New Jersey Senate and General Assembly recognition for disability advocacy. Last summer, I was featured in Vicinity magazine for my advocacy work. Um, and I also have done more public speaking, which includes at a Board of Education meeting for Chatham, where I advocated for student aides in the school district to get health benefits, a New Jersey legislative breakfast where I supported the continued funding for the New Jersey Children's System of Care, a fundraising event for a job training program, as well as recently at a Chatham Borough Council meeting where I raised awareness for a bill stalled in Congress called the SSI Savings Penalty Elimination Act.
Yes, wow, quite a lot. Um, okay, so you're clearly someone that you've achieved a lot. You've been able to present at some of the biggest events possible. Um, it would be fair to say you are a very successful self-advocate, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So for someone that also wants to be a successful advocate and they're looking for advice, what advice would you give them?
I would give them, I would tell them to use their voice and that sometimes their advocacy efforts might work and sometimes they might not, and not to be discouraged if they don't.
Well said. Okay. This will be the last question here, but certainly not the least. Um, why do you think the inclusion of individuals with disabilities is important?
The inclusion of individuals with disabilities is important because it gives
Hmm.
people with disabilities a chance to succeed in life, both socially and academically. The disability community also enjoys life more if they are around neurotypical people who make them feel included. As I mentioned in my TED Talk, which I hope you'll watch someday, the most important thing for humans is human connection. That's why it's important that society understands that people with disabilities have the same needs as everybody else, the need to connect.
Perfect. I couldn't, I don't think I could have said it any better. So wow, I think we're done with all like the major questions. But I guess what I want to ask you now is, um, are you active on social media at all?
I'm on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
Why?
Oh no, I'm just asking that in case there was any social media fields that you wanted people to follow you at.
Actually, no, I don't use Instagram as much, but Facebook I think is best.
Okay, perfect. All right. Well, I think that's it for this episode of Amplify Advocacy. Thank you so much,
Can you
Patrick.
take out me mentioning Instagram when you are on there?
Yes.
Just say that I'm on Facebook.
Yeah, I'll remove that in the post process.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I'll just do that one more time and then we'll wrap up. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Well, thank you all so much for watching another episode of Amplify Advocacy. We're going to include the link to Patrick's TED Talk in the description on YouTube, and I hope you guys join us again for another episode. Thank you so much, everybody.
All right.